Trump is not the first American politician to suggest that the US should incorporate Greenland. The acquisition of Greenland has been proposed by multiple Americans since the 19th century. William H. Seward, the Secretary of State under President Abraham Lincoln, who purchased Alaska from Russia in 1867, had ambitions to acquire other territories, including Greenland. In 1946, James Burns, then Secretary of State, proposed a $100 million offer to Denmark for the island. Negotiations continued into the 1950s, but no agreement was reached. Now Trump has revived this long-standing US interest, but in his characteristic style, threatening forceful annexation if a peaceful agreement isn't reached. The annexation of Greenland would bring both benefits and risks for the US. Let's explore each of them. Greenland's strategic location in the Arctic makes it increasingly important for the future due to two key factors. As the climate warms, new trade routes will become possible in the Arctic, and the region holds vast energy reserves that will soon be exploitable. China and Russia have a clear interest in the Arctic. If the US annexes Greenland, it will be able to counter the influence of these two rivals. For the US military, Greenland will be a significant asset. Nuclear submarines from Russia's Northern Fleet set sail from their base near Murmansk, operating undetected under the Arctic ice. This ensures that Russia can still respond to an attack even if its land-based weapons are destroyed. A US military presence in Greenland would make it easier to detect Russian military activity. Additionally, if Russia were to launch a nuclear attack against the US, the shortest route would be through the Arctic. The island already hosts Bidufik Space Base, a crucial early warning system against ballistic missile launches towards the US. In the future, if the US develops an anti-ballistic missile system capable of intercepting Russian ICBMs, Greenland would be an ideal location to deploy them, directly on the likely trajectory of those missiles. The soil beneath Greenland's ice cap is rich in natural resources, including rare minerals like lithium. Modern technology has become increasingly dependent on these minerals, and currently China dominates the supply chain. An American Greenland could change this. If Greenland becomes American, Canada would be surrounded by American territories, Greenland to the northeast, the American mainland to the south, and Alaska to the northwest. This could lead to a Canadian dependency on the US or even integration into the US, an idea that Trump has expressed multiple times. The US is a superpower due to its economic, financial, technological, and military might. Beyond these obvious strengths, its global alliances are also a significant source of power. Denmark, a NATO country, is a friend and ally of the US. Annexing Greenland would signal to the world that the US is not a trustworthy nation. No matter how powerful a country is, if it becomes globally despised, it will be impossible to maintain dominance in today's interconnected world. Many countries would likely reduce their dependence on the US by forming alternative alliances and choosing to use currencies other than the dollar. The US has often presented itself on the international stage as morally superior, criticizing others for wrongdoing and advocating for its vision of universal freedoms. Annexing a territory would demonstrate that the US is not above other nations and has no moral high ground to judge them. Many countries might see the US as hypocritical, given its condemnation of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, while simultaneously forcibly seizing a territory. Finally, such an action could signal a return to an earlier, less civilized era. Our current world order, at least in theory, is defined by international law and sovereign states that are equal and must respect each other. The UN, while imperfect, provides a mechanism for international civility. The flagrant annexation of a territory would represent a return to a system where power is paramount, potentially emboldening larger countries to bully smaller ones into submission. Trump often makes risky bets, and his suggestion to annex Greenland is a testament to this. However, I'm unsure how well he understands the associated risks. If the American administration is serious about gaining influence in Greenland, a more subtle approach than annexation would be wiser. While Greenlanders currently show no interest in becoming American, they are also dissatisfied with the Danish government. By exploiting this discontent and implementing beneficial programs, the US might gradually persuade Greenlanders to be more open to closer ties. Greenland's small population means that significant US investment in improving the lives of its citizens would have a considerable per capita impact, dramatically improving their standard of living. If Greenlanders were persuaded to willingly join the US, the risks associated with an outright annexation would diminish, while the benefits would remain. However, whether Trump is shrewd enough to employ such a strategy is another question.